maybe, I don't know, maybe a little lighter. And the same, oh no, now the highlighter is different. This one is more gold, this one is more pink. And again, that's why I like that. I do like something less golden. So as much as I love this one, I actually love this better. But I love all her palettes. Her eye palettes are second to none in their formulation. She is more expensive, but her packaging and formulation are definitely worth it. So, kind of impressed with her. She's quite the marketer and sales lady. Everything is, she calls it magical or miraculous, and literally will change your life. I love the way she talks. I love the way she does makeup. She's a famous makeup artist, as all the big Hollywood people. There's a little bit. So, let's get to this. Okay, so first and foremost, you got to have a shader. And this is just an eye shading brush, E55 from Sigma Beauty. I believe all of these will be Sigma Beauty brushes. And I always come back, except for the IT Cosmetics Buffing Foundation, I always come back to to Sigma Beauty brushes. I just love them. Sorry, y'all. I think I got bit by an ant right there, and it's driving me nuts. So, going to go with a highlight color, which you could use this as well, because it is a highlighter color, but this is more for the eyes, and that's how she put the blend of the way these will blend together. She put them together that way. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like it's better. It really, the colors blend together well, and I go in the inner corner to wake it up with some frosty look. And just a shimmery, beautiful, lighter color. And then I drag it across the lid. Drag doesn't sound very good. Drag, like rip it across. But I do lightly. And then I go under the brow, all the way under. I don't just do out here where a lot of people, I go all the way under the arch. And I do go back and forth to make sure it's getting down in the pores. And then I go just a little bit past, because when I blend, I want this to be lighter. In case any dark color gets back here, I want the lighter to already be waiting there. Again, inner corner. That means all the way into this inner socket area. See that? How I've got that? And straight up and down, so it gets the upper and lower inner tear duct area. And then across the lid. I don't necessarily go a lot back here. It's more in the front and then to the center round part of the lid right here, where it picks up the shimmer the best. Because I'm going to put a dark color out there anyway, so I don't have to really focus there. And again, this really mashed down right there. And then I go back and forth to make sure I fill the pores in real good. And then go back down behind right here, because you're going to cut it off there. And if I have a shimmer right there, it will be easier. And then now you can just use whatever's left on the brush to kind of just go over this area once. And what that does is put a little bit of a powdery finish, so that when you start adding other colors, they'll go on smoother. They won't be so patchy. Even though, of all the makeup formulations I've ever used, there is no patchiness in any color. Maybe some of the metallics, not some of them, one of them was a little patchy because I used my finger, and often it is good to use your finger versus a flat shader. That is the one brush I keep forgetting to bring in here. But it's like, looks like this, only it is thinner, like not as thick bristles, and it's a more elongated. I should bring it in, but anyway, this is not for that. This is for an everyday look, and I usually only use a metallic on my lid for a special occasion. So that's what I use flat shaders for, or I use my finger, because it just transfers better if it's not a brush, or either it's a very flat brush, whereas these are fluffies. And this is an E50 large fluffy brush from, and I just kind of just like put that down in there, tap it off a little bit, and I come from out, because wherever you put down is the most, and go all the way in. And this is going between the brow area we just put the highlighter on, all the way down to the crease, and then I just smooth that over. What is this doing? This is giving a backdrop canvas for any darker color, and that could be a navy, it could be a dark gray, it could be brown, a shade of brown for me. I usually choose the next color. Smooth that back out. Done with that. And that is this dark brown. Why? You could go with this. You could be done for the day if you want a really light look. But I like to have definition. So even on a really light day, I will take, this is a small tapered blending brush, E45 from Sigma Beauty. I'm still not an affiliate with them, and I need to be, because all I do is promote their brushes. And I could be honestly doing a review, because I use almost exclusively, and y'all, I have billions of brushes. It's sad. A lot of the sets I have, I bought because the set was pretty. There's Beth Logic for you. Okay. So, and if you'll notice, when it's tapered, I roll it because it's tapered, and if you just do straight down, you won't get all the brushes. So you have to taper, you have to roll it in the product. And again, you always put down on the outside where the color's the darkest, because wherever you put down, look, how that, wherever you put down, that's where the darkest amount's going to be. And I kind of look up so that my actual skin will grab that brush better. If I do that, it can move more freely. If I do that, it tightens it up in there. And I want it to tighten up because I want it to kind of pull the color off into the crease mainly. And just windshield wiper motions. I don't go fast and I don't go back and forth. I do long windshield wiper motions. Then I do a circle with the tip, but I never lift the brush like that. And what does that do? It really puts down color right there. And then I turn the brush so I can get the rest off. And I'm coming in this way and this way to make an outer V. And it just kind of blends it, that little place that I just dropped some down, it blends it out. And that gives me the depth I want. And there's the difference. You can go with this all day, but I like to have this more of this kind of a look. And so that's me. That's just, and you'll see when I finish it why. Because I will, when I blend this off, it's not so dark. Now you can do one of two things if you store your palettes flat. You can tap back off into the pan so you don't lose color. And also when you tap on the floor, it is getting in your carpet. One time I tapped right into a brand spanking new purse. That was that Kate Spade that I just showed y'all. Tapped right into it. So that means that powder is going to get in there. And it's got a dark interior, but you know, if it didn't, you could burn a purse. You can burn it. Again, going back and forth, and then I'm going to do a little circle right there, and then blend it back out, back and forth, and turn this and bring this in. Just bringing that color in. Okay, so now I'm done. Now, I am also going to take, in that same dark brown color, this is a short shader. Some people call these smudger brushes because they're so short and so dense. And if you look at it this way, it's wide, but if you look at it this way, it's skinny, almost like a brush you would use to do a spot treatment. And that is how I use it. I use it like a liner this way. So watch what I do. I use Moan Spit because I do not use my brushes on anybody but me. But if you think that is gross, you can use MAC Prep and Prime's Fix Plus. I have a little 1 ouncer here that you can also keep in your purse as a face spray. We'll talk about that in a minute too. Or keep some salines, what do you call it? Eye drops. But for me, just quick, like that, just to get it wet. And then I just kind of load the brush like that. Just kind of drag it in a little dash line. And definitely tap it back off because you just loaded product there. And then I look down so that it doesn't drop on my face like it just did. And do real hard at the lash line. And I kind of push in a good bit. Like I'm drawing. Back and forth. Very slowly. Because I'm using this as a liner. Now there's two things you can do after you do that. There's the difference. It definitely helps with making your lashes have a backup so that they look well lined. I can either stamp this, or I can do this. Just stamp this right at the lash line on the upper lid, which just kind of backs up any liner that you're going to do. Oops, that will fall out. Best thing to do, this is a good brush to have handy. It really is. Better than a fan brush even, is the small duo fiber F55. Those little duo fibers are great for flicking off fallout. Just literally flick it off if you ever have fallout, because if you rub it, it rubs it in. Alright, so you can tap, you can stamp this little area right at the lash line again to kind of back it up. And look at the difference in these two eyes. Then, because this is a perfect color for me personally to do my brow, I can drag this if I want a very polished look, just to get the darker color in here. I can just drag this through the brow on the lower first, and you can go out a little bit. It's not going to be precise because it's powder and it's a brush. And then I'm going to go up here a little bit too. Now it starts looking a little phased out the more you, more and more imprecise the more you do it, because you're losing the powder that's making a very sharp line. Only today I don't want a sharp line, so I'm just kind of filling in my brow and kind of in straight up and down motions, filling in the front of the brow, just lightly. Don't overdo this either. And look how it just kind of, it almost looks like a natural brow versus using a brow pencil or whatever. I'm going to show you the difference, and then I'll have to even these up. The other thing that I love to use, it just depends on which mood, which one of those I choose, is the Almay Intense Eye Color, and this is in color 004 Raisin Quartz. Sometimes I've seen it say Black Raisin. It is a crayon liner for the waterline, but I use it for the brow because it's such a muted shade of purple. It's a brown purple, almost like a brown gray purple. That's the color of my eyebrows, not purple, but it blends in well. So again, go underneath. And see, that's where you get your sharper point than that. See that? I could just run through that to give myself a little more of a point if I wanted to. Alright, so, and then wherever that point is, I go straight up to build. So for if you do you a visual line, it goes right there. And I come back down so I can build my brow. Because I do need to fill in, because a lot of my brow is gone. And then you just come forward and little strokes down to where it will meet the brow. And see, there's just a difference. This is a little more lifted because I went a little higher, number one, and my brows aren't even as far as how they look. But see how this is a little more precise looking, and this is a little more just filled in natural looking. Now I can use this and fill it in a little more. And get a similar look. Actually, I need to come up a little. So see, this is why you can use both of these together. For me, this is I've seen so many people who do not do their brows